What is up, guys? Welcome to Truth and Transparency. Thank you, moderators, for being here tonight. Members, subscribers, good evening.
I understand that everybody wishes that this was solved. And please be patient. I understand that everybody wishes that this was solved already, but these things take time. It takes time to work through. You heard the stats of all the tips and everything, the interview. And everything that's been done. This takes time for our investigators to work through. So please be patient as we work through this investigation. We owe this to these young kids, to these young adults. We owe it to them, and we are absolutely dedicated.
On December 27, 2022, Pennsylvania agents recovered the trash from the Kohberger family residence located in Albright, Pennsylvania. That evidence was sent to the Idaho State Lab for testing. On December 28, 2022, the Idaho State Lab reported that a DNA profile obtained from the trash and the DNA profile obtained from the sheath identified a male as being excluded as the biological father of suspect profile. At least 99.9998% of the male population would be expected to be excluded from the possibility of being the subject's biological father. Based on the above information, I am requesting an arrest warrant be issued for Brian C. Kohberger. In order for them to arrest Brian Kohberger, they needed the DNA connection. Otherwise, why include in your PCA? What trash did they obtain and send to the Idaho State Lab? They obtained this trash on 12/27/2022 from the residence of the Kohberger's parents' house. Where exactly was this trash? What time did they receive it on 12/27/2022? How did they transport it from PA to the Idaho State Lab? On 12/28/2022, Idaho State Lab reported back with the findings from the trash that was sent from PA on 12/27/2022.
Please be patient. I understand that everybody wishes that this was solved already, but these things take time. It takes time to work through. You heard the stats of all the tips and everything.
What happens if they obtain the DNA illegally? Why does Dawn Daniels believe that the DNA was problematic from jump when asking for her search warrant of Kohberger's apartment to exclude the DNA? Again, welcome everybody to the Transparency Thursday Night Live. We're really going to talk about this DNA, obtaining it in Pennsylvania on 12/27/2022. What time was it obtained? How was it transported to the Idaho State Lab? And then findings are literally made on 12/28 for then a arrest warrant on 12/29. How does that all happen? Well, let's talk about the trash. Brian Kohberger's parents, where they lived, this neighborhood was a private neighborhood. You couldn't just venture on through, gated. You had to be able to get through the gates. And you're not going to believe this, but This area is like trash Nazis. Okay. So much so that you will get a ticket if your trash is put out before 5 p.m. the night before. And if it is not taken in before 8 a.m. the day of, if your lid is not closed all the way, you will get a ticket. You have to sort everything out. Otherwise, they won't take your trash. Again, explain to me logically, okay, how you obtain in Pennsylvania and go through the proper channels to obtain this trash on 12/27, and that's a very important date. I should say day, because of when the trash was scheduled to be picked up, their weekly normal day. And I have some clips I'm going to show you guys. Also, some rules and regulations on who can be going into people's trash. Nobody can be taking trash in that area. So, but how do you logically explain that you obtain this trash on 12/27 in Pennsylvania? Okay, you then what, overnight it? Your DNA, you're gonna overnight it to the Idaho state lab, which then they get it at some point on 12/28. You're not gonna drive it. There's no way that you can get it there by the time that they say they have the results. And that they then get it, test it, boom. Use that last piece to put on the probable cause to arrest Brian Kohberger, and and then the arrest probable cause warrant was signed on the 29th, and then Brian Kohberger is getting arrested. Lindsay says, tested in PA, duh. That's the thing, Lindsay. They didn't test it in PA. Page 18, last page of the probable cause. On December 27th, 2022, this is straight from the PCA. On December 27th, 2022, Pennsylvania agents recovered the trash from the Kohberger family residence located in Albright, Pennsylvania. That evidence was sent to the Idaho State Lab for testing. On December 28th, the Idaho State Lab reported that a DNA profile obtained from the trash and the DNA profile obtained from the sheath. Now, you don't need a warrant to get trash if your trash is put out. There are rules about grabbing trash. You cannot go on someone's property and take their trash. Okay. But more importantly, this area, okay, they have rules about you can't do certain things and expect your trash to get picked up. Meaning if your lid won't close, okay, you have to literally take the stuff out to make your trash then close, or they will not take your trash can. Okay. So there's these rumors going around about Brian Kohberger placing trash in other people's trash cans. Okay. Well, people would think, wow, that's pretty crazy, right? Like, who the hell would do that? He's trying to, make it so people can't get his DNA or, the family's DNA. Well, that would seem, yeah, that's possible. But when you find out that how crazy the area is, with everything to do with the trash, So let's take a look at it. Let's take a look at what's up with the trash. And no, you cannot just go on people's property and take their trash and think that you don't need a warrant for that. That's 100% not true. And then Dawn Daniels makes it known we're not going to use the DNA. So she basically knows that there's potential problems. Okay. Nobody would ever write that. Nobody would ever say that to exclude this DNA when getting a search warrant for the apartment, unless she had some type of inside info. Like, well, we don't want to be this fruit of the poisonous tree, and then all the stuff that we obtain by this search warrant that we know a portion of it was obtained illegally, and then we're putting this down and we know that and you can prove that, then you're going to have all your evidence be inadmissible. It's going to be suppressed. That's fact. So let's take a look at this. Oopsies. TheWasteAuthority.com. Here you go. Recycling drop-off locations, the Waste Authority 3E waste event schedule for the spring. I mean, you want to know everything about the trash there. They got a couple different websites. So hold on. It's a very green city. New Orleans, lady. Very green city. Let's take a look at this really quick. In order to keep people out of trouble, sometimes you just got to make sure people are putting their boredom to use. Let's see. This looks good. Okay. Take a look at this. So, you know how you guys have Facebook groups that you belong to? Well, in Brian's neighborhood, they have like an HOA Facebook group that you can belong to, and Brian's parents' area that you can belong to. And this was posted on December 26, 2022. Will trash picked up today or tomorrow? Thank you. Because Christmas fell on, what was it? The 25th, obviously, is Christmas, December 25th. And that would be a Sunday. And then the 26th would be a Monday. And the 27th would be a Tuesday. Okay. So in that Facebook group, here is one of the posts from one of the members. Okay. And let's go like this. All right. So there you go. She's asking, yo, what's up? They collecting our trash today? And a couple different people are saying, yep, it's trash day. The 26th, it's trash day. Okay. And people are commenting back and forth on this post. And the reason I was interested in that is because I was looking for the date, well, actually the day of the week that this road would get their trash picked up. Okay. So it's even accessible to be picked up. So if you want your trash picked up, you have to put your trash out on the right day. Okay. And then once you put your trash out, like usually on the curb, you're surrendering your trash. There are still even some type of, if you really want to push some buttons, you might not be able to take that. But once you put your trash out on the curb, okay, you're surrendering it, and that's where you see like the garbage pickers and they'll drive by, whatever, blah blah blah. So it was really important to find out when trash day was for Brian Kohberger's street, his parents' street. Okay, because when would they be putting out their trash? And then how are these detectives saying, or whoever was doing it in Pennsylvania, to say that they obtained this trash? Now, why does this matter? Well, because how did they get this DNA? You can't go on his property. You can't go on their parents' property and just go rummaging through their shit on their property. You can't do that. And they were following him for a very long time. You're telling me that they didn't come across any other way. You know, he was allegedly out and about. You never were able to come across getting his, his DNA or any family member's DNA. Like, they just didn't leave their house to do anything. They didn't go anywhere. And so, no, they couldn't. They couldn't get it. They waited till the last possible minute to allegedly get this garbage on December 27th. And then somehow get it within literally less than a day, get it to Idaho, test it, and it have positive results. Okay. Now, what if we went as far as to tell you guys that there was more rules about this? Like, nobody could even go in other people's trash. You can't do certain things, or you will get fined. You will get a ticket. Again, I'm going to pull up some stuff. I want you guys to see it. All right, here we go. All right. I'm muted on purpose when I mute. Boy. Okay. Rules and regulations. Here we go. Let's take a look. The primary duty of the police department is to ensure the proper handling of municipal waste to protect and preserve the environment and community. The department is required to enforce any violation related to the transport, storage, processing, and disposal of municipal waste. For our police department to do their job effectively, we need your assistance. We ask citizens to report suspicious behavior if you think you have witnessed the improper handling of municipal waste, illegal dumping, and or littering. Please report any improper activity by capturing any identifiable evidence that may be needed for the officer's investigation. Examples of evidence include but are not limited to license plates, photo evidence, dates, times, etc. We sincerely appreciate your efforts in keeping Monroe County clean and beautiful. Rules and regulations, the Waste Authority rules and regulations. I mean, they don't fuck around, okay? Let's take a look. 8 pages here. What did I want to go to? Okay. go to let's see what part I want to show you guys. There you go. There's some phone numbers for you guys to go ahead and call. After COVID-19, they they even upped their game. They have like an app for this shit. You could track your trash. Okay, guys? They do not mess around. Okay, here we go. That's for their dumping stuff. Let's go back to this one. Did it take it off of there? Okay, good. I know. Who would have thought we're really talking about trash? Holy shit is right. Okay. They don't mess around, but it's really, really important. Let's see what the Monroe, here it is. What's this? Where do they talk about? Here we go. You know who I want to call up here too? I'm going to actually drop the link for her. New Orleans lady, you don't have to come on panel as far as like your face, but I want you to take this link so you can talk about our discussion last night. I love talking trash. There you go. Why wasn't that? Let me see if I can share this back again. Deer removal, household hazardous waste, special events, police enforcement. Submit a complaint if you want to complain about something. There she is. Hi.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay.
I know that I'm making your night with this.
Oh, girl. You have no idea.
Okay, so I hit you up yesterday and I say, listen, I'm sending you on a mission. Yes. And I say, okay, I want you to find everything that you possibly can on the trash in Monroe County where Brian Kohberger, his parents lived.
Yeah.
Okay. What did you think when I said that to you?
Well, when you asked me to find out the dates, I thought you were going where you are going, that they picked it up before anybody put the cans by the road. Like they had to go on his private property to get it, and they didn't have a search warrant. And I'm digging, and I'm digging, and I'm digging, and I'm digging, and I'm digging. And I went, crap, this is Green friggin' City. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't regular garbage pickup. Those people have the authority. They go into your trash can before they dump it. And if you have they'll go in the bags. If you have anything in your trash can that is supposed to be recycled, they pull it out, they put a sticker on it, they leave it, okay, and then they report you. And then you got what they call police enforcement knocking on your door to give you a damn ticket.
Yes, they do.
Because you put a friggin' bottle, okay, in your trash can. They will dig to find batteries from your remote control.
Mm-hmm.
I was like blown away. And then I'm like, wait a minute. These friggers have an app.
They have an app.
They have an app. Who tracks their garbage man? Seriously. Like I don't give a shit. Just come and pick it up. I don't care when you pick it up. Like anytime that day, just pick it up. These garbage people have stickers.
Mm-hmm.
My garbage man would recycle that shit. Okay. he I'm an app where your garbage man, where your recycling man is, what time he's going to be by your house, what time he picked up your garbage. It's weird.
Yeah, and,
So
and remember we were talking about, it was so funny because you're like, screw people that have to work or whatever. Like, how do you get your trash in on time? And you have to have it out. You can't have it out for so long, otherwise you get a ticket.
right, and this is right, right, and then it hit me, and like you cannot have even the slightest little opening. They're very strict with that on your can. Like somebody is driving around checking to see if everything is fitting properly in your garbage can, you're going to get a ticket. It is that crazy. So it dawned on me, what if BK was recycling trash? Everybody's talking about the gloves, and
Thank you, Wanda.
he's going through the trash.
Mm-hmm.
What if he was just doing what everybody else does in that neighborhood and just recycling? And then maybe he's throwing trash away in different people's trash cans because he doesn't have room. And maybe he's spreading it out because they don't have much room. Because if it's open just a little bit, they're going to get a ticket. They're going to get a
Exactly.
fine.
Exactly. So I was on this hunt to find out, hey, it was over the holidays, around the holidays. I want to know what day of the week was their day. I was like, if we have to call and act like we are house sitting in the neighborhood, and that we remember, like, oh, hey, we remember that it's kind of weird around here with the whole trash thing. Susie forgot to leave, the date that it goes out. I just want to make sure I have everything out and what the rules were again. Act like we're house sitting, give them the damn street name and ask them what day of the week the trash is coming, and did they have like a different day for recycles, and but we couldn't remember from the last time we were house sitting. So, but we're going to get to the bottom of what day of the week does this trash get picked up? Because when did if they had a possible chance to pick up trash that would be considered, on the side of on the curb or whatever. Now, but there is a rule where we were looking. When we were looking through the rules and regulations,
Right.
it said that you can't just go in someone's trash and take something. Isn't that what we came across?
I believe so. Yes, we came across a bunch of weird things, but yes, like if like you're not going to find good stuff in front of people's houses. I see like the day before trash on my street. They have all those people who own like thrift stores and stuff, and they just drive around and they start collecting broken furniture and stuff. You can't do that. You have to load that in your truck and bring it to the recycling place. If you have a broken lamp, like if I have a little small broken lamp or something, I'll just throw it in my garbage bin. Or if I think it still works or something, somebody else may like it, I may set it by the garbage can, knowing that somebody's just gonna drive by. So you can't do that. And not only that, you got to pay them to take that lamp. It's like, have
and they
these
have a
people
list.
ever heard of Craigslist or anything?
They have a list of stuff and how much it costs for certain items.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. It's like, do these people, have they ever heard of Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist? I mean, I would not be paying somebody $50 to take, an armoire.
So here I'm going to pull up what one of these regulations were. Okay. So take a look at this. Let's see. So
I searched a lot of different areas, to see how green they went. This town takes it to a whole new level.
You guys, all recyclables must be rinsed. Cardboard boxes must be broken down. If you leave anything on the ground, you are illegally dumping. Unacceptable items must return to your residence for proper disposal. No styrofoam, ceramics, mirrors, plate glass, dishes, light bulbs, or other garbage will be accepted.
Mhm.
If you leave, or I'm sorry, the waste authority permit for recycling must be always displayed and visible for the attendant.
Mhm. Yep.
Okay. The waste authority reserves the right to revoke a permit at any time for any reason. For the safety of the public and authority personnel, the waste authority reserves the right to modify rules and regulations as it deems fit without advance notice. If
Mhm.
you are sick, we urge you to stay home for your safety and the safety of the
Mhm.
public staff.
You know what?
Recycle.
What else I read? If you have like
This is
you know
for
old
all types of stuff. Yeah.
old documents, you have to take it to the recycling place and sit with somebody while they shred it.
Mm.
You know, you can't just like crumble them up and throw them in your trash. You have to take that to the recycling company and find somebody who can shred your papers.
Mm.
This isn't this, this is the extreme. I mean, they got some homeowners associations around here that will like measure your grass and stuff to make sure, you're cutting it and stuff, or they'll fine you. But I've never,
Yeah.
I have
So,
not found another town that is this is extreme. And everything on their website is about green. They have classes, they have online classes, and there's programs. You don't see like baseball, softball, soccer, and all that other stuff. You see, come here, we're going to teach you how to recycle.
mhm,
That's
mhm.
all you got.
It, it's so the big thing about this was this. I believe that they put out their trash
Hmm.
on the Monday,
Hmm.
on the 26th, because of the stuff that was going on in this Facebook group. Okay.
Hmm.
Um, and so then therefore, and then I was looking back at the PCA. Okay.
Hmm.
And again, the reason I went here is because of Dawn Daniels, and she basically was like, "No, we're not putting that in there. Don't include the DNA with the sheath and all that for us to get this warrant." Okay, but
Hmm.
it said that on December 27th, the agents recovered the trash from the Kohberger family residence. You guys, it's using family residence. It doesn't say from the curb. It doesn't say from, the trash outside. It says from the Kohberger family residence
Hmm.
located in Albright, Pennsylvania.
Hmm.
Okay. On December 27th. Well, what trash are you getting on the 27th if the trash was picked up on the 26th? Okay.
And that trash can wasn't. There's not a doubt in my mind. It was on the property up against the house.
Now I went fishing for some more pictures for us. Okay.
They wanted 3 feet this way from this, 3 feet from this, 3 feet forward from this, 3 feet back from this. I mean, it's like you got to put a big old X on your yard where your garbage can's going to be, because these are the type of people who probably come over and measure. They have a task force. This is all they do is handle trash complaints.
Mhm.
I,
Mhm.
I was literally blown away by it, and I really do believe I I've always said I think that he was putting trash in people's garbage cans because maybe he didn't have room in his. I use the lady across the street. She uses mine.
Yeah, yeah, I've done that before. I mean, because ours is somewhat similar with like it has to be in our garbage. They won't take garbage that's like on the ground. It has to fit in our container. You know what I mean?
Right. We have
But
two trucks. If
check this
there's
out.
Right,
Yeah.
we have one that lifts it automatically, and then if you have bags that are lined up, another like a Powers truck. We have Powershes here, but a Powers truck will swing by and pick up that stuff. But if you like have a mattress or something, you like, I need to get rid of this mattress, you just call the Powers, and they're like, okay, we'll be over there today or
Mm.
tomorrow, and then you just put it out and they grab it and that's it.
Mhm.
It's just so easy. And I was feeling so bad about myself because I'm throwing all kind of stuff. I mean, everything that they don't want you to throw away over there, I'm throwing away over here.
Mhm.
I felt
Mhm.
bad.
Yeah, welcome to the green. And then we were talking about that app. So yeah, and these houses are not close to each other 100, like they're not. But here was the here's a picture of, when he was cleaning outside when after this
Yeah.
happened, they were able to grab some pictures. He has some work gloves on there, like his dad. But in the back there are like, look at, I mean, I don't there's nothing in these trash cans, so that doesn't seem like to me. But this has like a lid to flip over it, so there could be um, but all this broken glass, they wouldn't have been able to put that in their trash, would they?
Nope. Oh, no, 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 no. Like, I guess I don't know that stuff from the door or from the window, whatever they broke off his house. That has to go to the recycling company. He has to he has to bring that in. They won't even take it, even if it fit in the garbage can. They won't take it. If you try to put it in there, they'll give him a ticket. So he's got to put that in the back of his vehicle and go drive it to their recycling plant. Which, if you look at their website, they actually have people like digging through that stuff. you
Mhm,
know,
mhm.
I mean,
Um,
they're digging it. They're taking all the books, putting it over here. They're taking all the cans and putting it over here. They are really into it.
yeah, and the other thing is that so, like, if they were to see, like, Brian digging through allegedly this garbage, this
Mm-hmm.
trash,
Mm-hmm.
which would people are like, "Oh my god, see, he's doing this and he's doing this because this."
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, well, that's what you okay, hey, that could be a legit thing that you think,
Mm-hmm.
like, he's doing whatever he's doing stuff with the gloves, but when you go and read this,
Mm-hmm.
this completely changes everything to do with why anybody in the family
Mm-hmm.
would be doing anything when it came to separating and being
Mm-hmm.
so involved with their garbage and their trash. It's
Mm-hmm.
because you guys, this area, it's like
It's a full-time job.
yeah, it's crazy.
I think I've always said I thought he was putting his trash in other people's trash cans because he didn't have room in his, and he didn't want to put it all in one trash can. So he was spreading it out because maybe they didn't have a bunch of room. But I think he was spreading it out because not only does that lid have to be closed, you pay your bill by the weight of your trash can. So, a heavier trash can is going to cost more money than,
Mhm,
a
mhm.
lighter one, because that company, I did look at it maybe a couple of hours ago, and they look like they charge you by the weight of your can. So I don't know how they figure that out, but they must have something.
Oh, yeah, and I mean, and there
I think he was recycling. Okay. I mean, if I was recycling and digging in, even if it is my parents' trash cans, I think I would want to wear gloves. And I think people make a big deal out of the gloves. I have them, I have the same kind he has, but mine are purple. Okay. I clean my house with it. I, I, I eat crawfish with it. I peel crabs with it. I wax my car with them. I don't think it's a big deal. People are freaking out because he wears gloves. A lot of people do. A
um,
lot.
so, and so the reason for this, guys, is the reason for this live is to talk about the fact that, you know, when talking to police officers and detectives and people that are in law enforcement, and you say, "Have you ever heard anybody have DNA, touch DNA, whatever whatever type of DNA, and not use it to get a search warrant, but instead make mention that just in case this was obtained, you know, just in case there was a problem with this, we don't want you to use it." And that's like, no, that's somebody getting tipped off on that, and they're trying to right a wrong, okay, to make sure that like um that when it comes back, it doesn't hit them and bite them all in the ass, down the road.
Mhm.
But it's like, okay, well, what about the stuff that what happened from them getting the like this alleged DNA, what did it actually lead to? Well, it led to the PCA of him being arrested. Okay.
Mhm.
Without the DNA allegedly linking, you know, um, what's like you use it to arrest him. If it's not on there, is the arrest like you clearly thought that you needed it? Did you try to get it without having that on there? Don Daniels, why would you ever do that? And everything that we've researched and the people that we've talked to said you would only do that if you were if you had some inside knowledge that yeah, this is going to be problematic. This how we obtain this is going to be problematic.
Mhm.
And so then it bears the fact of okay, well, if you obtain the DNA illegally, all right, this is where when is Anne it's not to me it's not going to be if she does it, it's when she does it. When
Mhm.
is Ann Taylor going to motion to suppress evidence based on illegally obtaining X, Y, and Z? And the biggest thing here is that what we're talking about is how they obtained this DNA. Like
Mhm.
and it has it right in here. It says it in the probable cause that they went on, you know. So it says it right here that the last page of the PCA, and this is to arrest him. Okay,
Mhm.
that they recovered the trash from the Kohberger family residence located in Albright, Pennsylvania. So they say it right there that it's from the residence, and
Mhm.
it was on the 27th. And if the trash was picked up on the 26th, well, what trash was there on the 27th at the residence? Did they really get this from that? Are they just trying to say that? But they were following him. They were in PA for quite some time. They couldn't come across a chance to get anything from anybody, right?
Mhm.
Or I don't know what items they sent, but then to find out that they then sent it on the 27th, the day that they got it, they were able to get it to the Idaho State Lab to be then tested on the 28th and the findings on the 28th. Um, it's and then boom, you're then getting your search warrant signed on the 29th. And then when Dawn Daniels does hers, though, we're not including that DNA.
Mhm.
Okay. So
And remember, they said the residents. They didn't say the neighbors.
yeah, they
Because
didn't say
I
the
know a lot
neighbors.
of people are going to go there. They're going to say, "Oh, well, they ended up getting it from the neighbors because they watched them. They watched where he put it." They said the residents, so not I
Yeah.
collected it from the neighbors. You know.
And, and then we have a law enforcement personnel that's writing, okay, this other search warrant that's
Mhm.
literally happening, you're getting it almost at the same time, but you're not using that DNA. So
Mhm.
you're not using any of that. Don't consider any of that when you issue this search warrant of his home.
Mhm.
Okay. Wait, what? So I'm waiting here very patiently because I'm telling you this motion is coming and it's going to try to suppress the DNA, which
Mhm.
means when you take the DNA away and well then what kind of led to it? So does that mean that everything from the home and the car, you wouldn't have been able to search the home and the car?
Mhm.
And anything from the home and the car, is that coming from the the tree of the poisonous fruit? Like, um, so these are all things that this is what you arrested him on.
Mhm.
You know, this is in the PCA. This is why a judge signed off for him to be arrested. Okay, you have probable cause because this DNA that we were able to obtain from going on his property, his parents' property, and taking trash, okay, and then going and testing it.
Mhm.
That's what led to you being able to sign this warrant for us to arrest him.
I think if they did not have that, they probably would not have had enough. I mean,
Okay.
cell phone pings, you know.
And then my question is how quickly all of this happened. Okay. So Payne's writing the PCA for the probable cause to arrest him. Okay.
Mhm.
You're supposed to be communicating with the people in Pennsylvania. All right.
Mhm.
So when you're communicating with the people in Pennsylvania in terms of these detectives and stuff like that, or whoever obtained this, there is like the custody and everything like that.
Mhm.
You're going to be filling out your report on, when you got it, where you got it. Then you put it in your package to seal it. Then we're mailing it off. And so if Payne's doing his job because this is his investigation, when Payne would find out and hear, because you're communicating, you're writing this probable cause affidavit to arrest Brian Kohberger. So you need to make sure, like, wait, what do you mean you got to, okay, I need you guys to get me this DNA because we have this sheath, like, we want to test it. Can you guys get your hands on this? Okay, we need you to get it. We need you to get it. Well, but we need you to get it legally. Okay, we need you to obtain this legally so there's no issues. Okay. So um, this is the type of communication that should be had between Pennsylvania and Idaho. All right.
Mhm.
So, because I said when we were asking, like you guys know how John was on Bella's channel and did the interview.
Mhm.
So, um, some of the stuff that I had more questions on were things like this, which is okay, why would Don Daniels ever not use that? And
Mhm.
when he's writing this, how much weight is put on the fact that is he able to say, well, I just assumed that they obtained it. Why would I think that they obtained it illegally? So are they able to finagle to, how much wiggle room do you have? Um, where's the accountability? When PA went ahead and did this, did they have body cams on? You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Uh, these are all things that you better believe Ann Taylor's on top of. Who in the area has Ring cameras of that house? Does any of these police officers have body cam? Where did this trash come from? Did they go on the property to get it? Then that's illegally obtained. You're
Mhm.
throwing that out. If you're throwing that out, what's up? All these things, right? So, but I wanted to say, how could Don Daniels have the wherewithal to know to exclude it, but Payne is going to put it in there, and it tells me that you needed that. You needed
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
Um, Police can garbage pick without a warrant. See, that's the thing is there is no warrant. It's not illegal. Police can garbage pick without a warrant, but obtaining it that way makes it easier for defenses to get it thrown out. You can garbage pick, but you can't go on somebody's property to garbage pick. So you
You need a
trespassed. You
warrant.
trespassed.
They
You
needed the warrant.
that you needed a warrant then.
I mean, that's
I talked to
and
him about it.
that
I
is
talked to him
true.
about it flat out. He said, "Yeah, that's why." So we were talking about this whole amended part, and what's when somebody would go and get an amended warrant.
Mhm.
What do you think that they needed? Or well, the only time that you would amend in a warrant is if you obtained a warrant and you either went to the place and then you saw something, so then you needed to add to it. And hey, I'm not just going to take something. I'm going to then take it back, say based on this, this, this. So I'm amending the warrant to being able to add X, Y, Z, or upon information that you were given in that short period of time that you're like, okay, here, let me go and amend the warrant because of new information that I obtained.
Mhm.
Um, so and it's clear as day in the PCA, guys. This is no trash on the curb. Okay.
Right.
Just check out the beginning of the video. I go slow for a reason for people to really follow along. But on December 27th, the trash usually gets picked up on um, Mondays. So on the 27th, agents recovered the trash from the Kohberger family residence from the family residence. This does not say on the curb. This is from the family residence. They put it in there. And I think that was a way of maybe Payne covering his own ass, but he admits that this came from the family residence. That that's where you obtain this.
But he also admitted that his cell phone ping theory is crap. So he tends to do that. He tends to make these mistakes when he's writing this affidavit. I think, maybe there's a bunch of different people writing it, and they just kind of put it all together, and nobody, read it to make sure it's all right. But like all his cell phone, he pinged here, 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 but we don't think he was there. So I'm supposed to believe all the other cell phone pings. Just why he even added that in there, I don't know. I have no idea. I've talked to people who are in law enforcement or were in law enforcement, and they read that affidavit and they were scratching their heads. And then the search warrant for the apartment, they need to get into that apartment because, their years of experience tells them if the knife's not in the house, then he took it with him. Well, I have no experience, and I would have figured that out, but they need to get into that apartment to not only find the knife, but the sheath that the knife belongs to. I thought that was by the bodies.
Well, and also though it's
unless they're talking about two different weapons.
Well, I'm not talking about that today. But I'm sticking with this, and that is that you. I think everybody should paint the big picture of this whole thing, which is, when did they know that Brian Kohberger was their guy? Because remember that on December 23rd was when the historical data, that warrant was given. Okay, and then you got, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day. So then you're looking at the 26th, 27th. But for Dawn Daniels to say not to use that in order to get her search warrant, you guys, that's because Dawn Daniels had inside information that, hey, the way that they obtain that could be problematic. Stay away from that and just go with this. You ask any law enforcement person out there why somebody would not include that, and they're going to tell you there's only one reason. You include it unless it's a problem. And she was trying to get ahead of it and bringing it up then, versus down the road, nobody say anything, and then it wipes out all your shit. So
the bottom line is that these trash cans get searched. Okay, they dig in the bags. They want to see if you got a beer bottle in there, because they want to find that stuff. That's how they make their money. It's a little small town. They make money doing this. So they're looking for every violation. If Brian, because nobody in your chat, but I've read comments elsewhere. If people believe that he was throwing the knife away, or he was throwing the bloody clothes away, and he was putting it in other people's trash cans, it didn't happen. These people's garbage gets checked. Okay, like all the time.
That's the big thing about this episode, is to go take a look at that.
I think he was just throwing trash away, and he was spreading it out, because maybe he figured if he added it all in this trash can, their lid won't close. Okay, and then it goes by weight. And it's hard to hide from it's hard to hide from DNA. You shed it everywhere, and and they're like, well, he's cleaning his car with gloves on.
Well, yeah, and I just want to go back to this part about it is that I've been saying, so wait, remember that whole thing when you came across him on November 29th in his vehicle, and you never took any chances to talk to this guy, to try to get in that vehicle that would have, I'm sorry, but I believe that there's going to be, you're getting into that vehicle with a bloody hot mess. So you make no efforts, because I can't wait to hear why, but You make
If
no
I was
efforts
law
to talk
enforcement, I
to
would have
him.
given him a ticket and said, "Here, sign here. Now I got your pen." You know, I mean, there's 1,000 different ways they could have, got him.
Oh yeah, like
I mean,
when they pulled him over,
at some point
past
he
the
went to the
paper, have him,
bathroom.
possibly. It, it, it's everything about every step of this, though. If when you break it on down and you break down every little step, um, there's huge question marks surrounding certain things, and people can say, "Oh, that's systematic," or "Oh, that's like, oh, come on," but okay, well, when you do all those little things, um, I, you have to eventually explain it. It's the totality of it. So,
I think I
something
think
off
they
here or
caught
there,
him.
this is the totality. So, for Brian to be doing this, digging in trash or whatever they, again, this is nobody has it on camera. Who's going to be testifying to that? I can't wait for that. I can't wait for whoever's going to be testifying to that. Brian, they saw Brian doing this, that, or the other with gloves on. And then Ann Taylor brings up all of this stuff. And it's like, well, what did you want him to do? These are the rules and regulations. They get tickets if they don't do this. So it's not abnormal. It's not abnormal that he is doing X, Y, and Z and that they're using gloves. Do you dig in the trash? Do you do that with your bare hands? There's nothing wrong with that.
No, and I personally have a feeling that maybe his father was getting a whole bunch of tickets because he just wasn't, because it sounds difficult. I mean, that sounds really like very time consuming, and he looks like the type of person who just don't have time for all of that. And I think he went there and he was sorting his trash. And where we look at that as weird, that's normal in that town. That's how people live. That's a
Mhm.
full-time job.
Uh,
Just I mean, I take the batteries out my remote control. They're dead. I just throw them in my trash can. If I lived in that town, they'd put me in jail for that. They're that strict. Everything on every website pertaining to that town is about keeping everything green.
Mhm. Mhm.
There's no yoga classes for old people or pottery classes or art classes. And all the classes that you're going to take in that town, it's recycle. They want to teach you how to recycle. They
Mhm.
even go so far as to tell you, what kind of mulch and stuff you got to put in your yard, in your garden. And
Mhm.
you get it from them. You bring your truck and you pay them a little money and they'll put it in the back of your truck. It was mind blowing. I'm serious. I couldn't sleep after reading all of this. I was like, oh my God, that explains why it probably explains why he has so many gloves. He probably has lived this life his whole life, and he was probably doing the same things over there in Washington, at Washington State. That's why he's got
Yeah.
gloves everywhere.
Well, um, yes, it is a gated community, and it's again, this is just
I'm wondering
simply
who let him
to
in.
show. Yeah, this is just simply to show this timeline to you guys. Um, how do you get so they get this DNA on the 27th? Okay,
Mhm.
we don't know what time they got it. All right, then they found out the reports. They got everything. Okay, now we have to send this to the Idaho State Lab. We're gonna go to a place around there to FedEx it overnight. I mean, what are you gonna do? Shit, I've FedEx stuff that doesn't get there the next day. It's during the holidays, okay, the 27th, but they are able to get this on the 27th, send it on the 27th. The Idaho State the lab gets it on the 28th, does the testing, and has the findings back on the 28th. Okay, and again, this is all the while that you've already zoned in on this guy. You've already have all this stuff building up for this guy. You got the historical stuff on the 23rd, right? And you're just waiting. You're like, we got to get this DNA. We need to get this DNA. We want to match to see if this DNA matches, right? We want to see if this matches, right? Because
Mhm.
that's what I mean. Otherwise, think about it. Why couldn't you just turn it in to take away the sheath? Take away the sheath. Take away that's not a match. Okay. Or let's say that you just don't obtain the DNA. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Why not submit to get an arrest on Brian Kohberger without that?
Mm-hmm.
Everything tells me that they needed that. Here, see, get the DNA. Like, why wouldn't what they have submitted be enough?
Mm-hmm.
They're going through all this stuff. They have all these people in town, in PA, following this car, following all these people in Pennsylvania. Hey, we need to get his DNA. Would love to know what's going on. If you're, are they really investigating the case with other leads in other places during the time that he's all in Pennsylvania once he's left Washington? But it's like, you have everything else ready to go. Don Daniels was able to obtain a search warrant of his apartment without the DNA.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So why couldn't you arrest him without the DNA?
I think that was a oopsie.
Or could you not? Or
Maybe it wasn't supposed to be in there. I don't know. I mean,
so it's just, I think it's just something to think about, though, is if people that are out there, they say they have way more than they're putting in the PCA, guys, right? Okay, so then why do you even need to take a chance of obtaining this DNA in some type of, messed up weird way? Because remember, when you're going to go to arrest him, you're then going to be able to take your swabs and him. Like, you're going to be able to do all that, right?
mm-hmm.
So it tells me that they could. I believe that they probably attempted to,
Mm-hmm.
but they couldn't. Wouldn't you think?
And the reason that we talk about this town and how strict they are is because there are a lot of people out there think that he was dumping, bloody knives in other people's trash cans. And everything that I have read about this town, that's not happening. Okay. That would have been found if that's what he was doing. Or bloody clothes. I mean, okay, he put it in a bag and threw it in somebody else's trash can, but they dig in those bags. I think he was just recycling. And I think he was just trying to get rid of the trash and not overload his dad and not get anybody else in trouble. And that's why he put it in a couple of different cans. No way was
would
that
would you risk your case, though? Would you risk your case on obtaining this DNA illegally?
No.
Exactly.
No.
But they did obtain.
I know.
And Don Daniels calls him on it. And it's like, she knows it. She knows. So it's gonna be like, Don Daniels, who did you talk to between the time of when you wrote your paperwork up to go and submit yours? You chose not to use that DNA. Why? And then you're gonna look and see who Don Daniels, who did you talk to before that? Why would you even have this thought that it could have? What did you hear inside your little, camaraderie of, talks amongst coworkers? Why would you even think not to include that in your apartment search warrant? To say, hey, hold up. We have this, but we don't, I'm going to tell you that we have it, but we don't want you to use it to give us the search warrant. Who the F ever says that? And myself and Bella, we asked John what he thought of that. And he said, what? Showed him it. Okay, so he's like, well, she definitely has some knowledge that she has some knowledge there that's problematic. And she's trying to get ahead of, whatever information that she does know, trying to get ahead and just to make sure that that none of this would get thrown out. So to exclude that.
So
people should really, really be like, this should be being talked about. And guess what, though? If it's talked about, then I would love, why aren't these questions asked by law enforcement? When you have Ashley Banfield up there, you have who's ever talking about the Idaho4 case, and you have on your, oh, this guy was a retired, and this guy is this, and this, FBI. Okay, well, who's ever put that in who's ever said that before? Why would you ever say that? Well, you would never say that unless you know something. You would never write that. You would never tell anybody that. Why are you saying that? Well, I don't know. I was just being extra cautious. I've been working for 40 years, but what do you would never do that, you guys.
Mm-hmm.
You guys, she just told on the department. And why aren't they talking about it? And if nobody thinks that if I'm Brian Kohberger and Ann Taylor does not try to suppress and go balls deep about this DNA, then no, she's not. I mean, because you have a police officer telling the judge that we do not want you to use that because if there's any issues on how that was obtained, we don't want anything from the apartment to be jeopardized. So wouldn't that mean that if you arrested Brian Kohberger because of that DNA that you put in the probable cause warrant to arrest him, okay, for his arrest, tell me how that does not mess with everything that you would have obtained during that arrest? And it's not just about the touch DNA being thrown out, guys. That was how they arrested Brian Kohberger. You arrested Brian Kohberger on that information. Okay, without that information, did you ever attempt to get a warrant to arrest him?
And the DNA is a problem of itself, and I'm sure you're going to be talking about that on another live. But there's a lot of things that need to be taken into consider. Who performed the test? Not just the lab, but who performed it? What's their reputation? They never say, never. People think, oh, he cleaned the sheath and he just missed a spot. They never said that was not the only DNA. They just said they found a strand, a single.
I agree with that, Rex, that law enforcement has shared possibly 10% of what they know. 100%. I agree with that. I agree with that. So then why jeopardize? That's all I've been saying is we want the integrity of this case. We want to do it the right way. Then why in the world would you ever trust Pennsylvania? First of all, everybody knows if you don't know my dealings with PA, but why would you ever jeopardize anything? I mean, hey, you waited this long to talk to the guy, get in his car. You know, like you can't obtain some DNA, or better yet, why do you need it? Why do you need it? I thought you have so much shit, so just pop off more shit on your PCA. Don't worry about the DNA, and you'll probably get the arrest. Okay, think about it.
I think at the time,
more shit, so then put that back in your back pocket or whatever. Okay, but pop off more shit that you have that's circumstantial. All right, because everybody says we only know 10%, guys. Okay, well, guess what? Shave a little more off and get your PCA for the arrest of Brian Kohberger. Legally, motherfuckers, legally.
If they only shared,
but you got Don Daniels
of what they had
coming through, saying we're not going to use that to go get his apartment.
Then this was the best that they had, and this affidavit has some questionable things in it. Okay. I think if they had a lot more, I think they would have added a lot more of the good stuff and left out half the stuff that they put in there. Because
I'm just looking forward to see how this all plays out, because you have you guys, it's in black and white. Go read Dawn Daniels' search warrant. Okay. She refuses to touch that DNA to put in her search warrant, and she says why.
Mhm.
Nobody does that. Nobody does that unless there's a problem, and there is a problem. So now everybody go. We're going to be getting off this live right about now because I just wanted to be around an hour. Everyone go read up on all that you think would. Where does the fruit of the poisonous tree, where does that come into play? You arrested Brian Kohberger because the DNA matched, the touch DNA matched to his dad, again, allegedly. And that's what is the last thing you wrote on your probable cause for the arrest of Brian Kohberger for the murder of 4 students. Okay. But now you take that out. What do you have? And why would you ever risk any and all of this if you have all this other stuff? You would never risk it, in my opinion. Anybody you wouldn't risk it. And that's what I'm going to say, Star. Simple. It's all they have, right? I'm going to agree with that. I'm going to agree with that because you wouldn't risk it. Or are you going to really believe, okay, PA tells you, oh no, this is how we obtained it. They did this, that, and the other. Well, then why isn't Payne being a little bit more, I think it's just going to be interesting, guys. I think it's going to be really interesting, but Dawn Daniels didn't use it. Look up on Monroe. Trash. We're going to call this a wrap. I love you, New Orleans lady.
And I'm sorry, I just get so excited over this topic.
You did great. We were
it's
going
just-
back and forth last night. It was you're
when
like, oh
I
my
was reading
God.
everything, because look, y'all, I mean, I didn't think it was weird that he was wearing, I mean, I see people at the store all the time wearing gloves, and I don't ever think that they murdered people and they're hiding their DNA. It's just some people are germaphobes. I thought maybe he had some type of texture problem and he just didn't like touching things. But it makes sense now. It's like, why was he arrested wearing gloves? Well, he was friggin' sorting trash,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and just how strict this town is, and it is a full-time job. It's a lot. Like, I couldn't live there. I couldn't. I mean, they would kick me out. I got my paint cans and everything in my dumpster, but it's just they're so strict, and the point is these trash cans are checked. So he was just throwing away trash. He wasn't throwing away a murder weapon and bloody clothes. It was just trash.
Mm-hmm.
And my guess is his trash can was full. That's just my guess. I don't know.
Yep. Yeah. We're gonna see. We're gonna see. Oh yeah. Then the last thing I want to tell you guys is that there were 11 out of the warrants that that we were given out of that dump. Heavily redacted, mind you, and there's so many more warrants, but there was 11 that were amended. So, and I have a list. I have the list of them. I'll put them on my community page. You guys can see the list of the 11 that they amended at some point to then, do whatever it is that they were doing. And one of those being the UPS. So, but yeah, thank you for being on here, New Orleans lady. Love you. Appreciate you.
Love
Thank you for
you.
everybody in chat. You guys were here. Probably like 900 of you guys were here for most of the time. So I'm sure you have an opinion on if you enjoyed the video. If you didn't enjoy the video, make yourself
Y'all,
known.
I'm going back and I'm reading those comments.
Thumbs it up.
So y'all
Thumbs it down.
nice.
I'm
taking
notes. And all it means with the amended warrants, guys, is that at some point, I'll just put it out there on my community page, and there's nothing bad about that, you guys. What that means is, though, they got more information, or they needed to when they were doing something, they came across something else that said, oh well, we actually need to go back to the judge and say that we need this, this, and this because of what we came across when we did the first part of it. So it's nothing weird or obscure. It's normal. It's 100% normal. But what I think that everybody should look at is the different ones that were amended. That just means added to. You needed to get. You either came across more information, or when you were searching an area, whatever it was that the search warrant was for, you came across something else that was not in the scope of your original search warrant. So then you want to do things the right way. So then you go back to, hey, we came across XYZ, and that would lead us to believe that, then this person that they talked to, whatever it may be. So, again, love you guys. Be safe. Be kind to one another.
Y'all go read that website, because there's a list of things you can add in your trash cans and things that you can't.
Yes, a home team production. Yes.
And knives and bloody clothes and bodies.
Yes.
On there.
Here you go. I'll end with this for you. It's the beginning, 3 minutes. Bye, babe.
And please be patient. I understand that everybody wishes that this was solved already, but these things take time. It takes time to work through. You heard the stats of all the tips and everything, the interview. And everything that's been done. This takes time for our investigators to work through. So please be patient as we work through this investigation. We owe this to these young kids, to these young adults. We owe it to them, and we are absolutely dedicated.
On December 27, 2022, Pennsylvania agents recovered the trash from the Kohberger family residence located in Albright, Pennsylvania. That evidence was sent to the Idaho State Lab for testing. On December 28, 2022, the Idaho State Lab reported that a DNA profile obtained from the trash and the DNA profile obtained from the sheath identified a male as being excluded as the biological father of suspect profile. At least 99.9998% of the male population would be expected to be excluded from the possibility of being the suspect's biological father. Based on the above information, I am requesting an arrest warrant be issued for Brian C. Kohberger. In order for them to arrest Brian Kohberger, they needed the quote-unquote DNA connection. Otherwise, why include it in your PCA? What trash did they obtain and send to Idaho State Lab? They obtained this trash on 12/27/2022 from the residence of Kohberger's parents' house. Where exactly was this trash? What time did they retrieve it? 12/27. How did they transport it from PA to the Idaho State Lab? On 12/28/2022, Idaho State Lab reported back with the findings from the trash that was collected and sent on 12/27, all the way across the country.
Please be patient. I understand that everybody wishes that this was solved already, but these things take time. It takes time to work through. You heard the stats of all the tips and everything.
All right, guys, we'll see you soon.